Okay, we are recording. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me for the April 20th Experts Connect meeting. We do this every third Tuesday of the month for a couple of reasons. One, to get to know one another, to connect with one another, but also to find out what's going on at Living Healthy List. What do we have happening? What's new and improved? What's coming down the pike? And also, this is a great place to ask your questions about what we've got going on, how we can best support one another. So I would like to start by welcoming Carola Becker. Hi, Carola. Thank you for being here. Carola comes to us from the UK. And Carola, as we'll go through intros in a few minutes. Since there's just a few of us, we can probably take a little bit more time today and say, what is it who we are, where we are, what we do, and let's answer this question, like, what do we do that's unique? Because so many of us are coaches, but we all do something a little differently. So let's answer that question. What is it that you do that's unique to other coaches? So I guess I'll start. I'm Denise Teagle, obviously. I'm the CEO and curator, AKA editor of Living Healthy List and .com and Living Healthy List Academy, which will be launching very soon. We'll talk a little bit about that. And what I do that is different. Obviously, as a coach, that's one piece of what I do. But as the CEO and curator at Living Healthy List, what makes us different is that our information, yes, it's honest and reliable and unbiased, but most importantly, the experts that we have on Living Healthy List are people that I know, love, and trust, or people who have been referred to me from those people that I know, love, and trust. And I truly believe that having this, 1 or 2 degrees of separation gives us a better collaboration. We have a better understanding of who the experts are and what they do. And I think that just truly is what makes Living Healthy List unique to compared to some of the other things that are out there. So Carola, I will start with you since you are on my left there and you're new with us today.
Oh, no
You're
sound.
muted.
No, her mute's not on, but there's no sound.
Oh no, you went away. Your voice did go away. No, so can you? That's weird because we were.
Is it the AirPod?
Oh, that is strange. We literally were just talking before we started recording. Okay. Okay, very good. Okay, so we're going to come back to Carola. So Suzanne, you are on my right-hand side, so we'll go start with you, please.
And we totally understood what Carola said.
Yep.
So move on to that was awesome. Hi, everyone. I'm Suzanne Taylor King. What were we sharing again about us? And
who you are, where you are, what you do, and what makes you unique.
I'm in Marlton, New Jersey, near Philadelphia. My superpower is really that overhead view of your business, unique ideas, unique strategies that set you apart from every other entrepreneur in your niche. Where I'm at right now is in a huge growth spurt in my business, and it's a little overwhelming, but a little exciting at the same time. So I'm balancing out looking for new team members and growing my offerings and my services. And that's really it about me right now.
That's pretty amazing. You got a lot going on. It's awesome. Okay, let's see. Letitia. Hi. Okay, now you're muted too.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Letitia Cleese. I'm also known as Dr. Joy. I am a certified clinical aromatherapist as well as a joy lifestyle expert. And what in the world does that mean? It means that I help people get unstuck. I empower and encourage them in their faith, and I really help them experience joy. So if you've lost joy, you're just going through a difficult time, you're finding purpose in your life, that's really what I help people focus on. So my superpower, as Suzanne says, my superpower is joy jam. I mean, I just really try to help people focus on positive, really focus on identifying the silver lining in their difficult situations and really helping them get that unstuck mindset from the rain cloud that's sitting over their head. So that's me. I live in Rochester, just down the street from Denise. Happy belated birthday. You don't look a day older. Amazing woman. So yes, I live in Rochester, which the cool weather is not really so fun right now.
Yeah.
What to deal with that?
Yeah.
But I'm finding joy in it.
Well done. Woohoo.
We all need to take a lesson from Letitia, no matter what's going on, to add a little joy. Thank you. Michelle, hello.
Good morning, ladies, from sunny Northern California. As a personal finance coach and educator, I'm the financial wellness advocate of the group, and I work with women, mostly entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, to improve their money management skills, which is really helpful for gaining peace and confidence with finances for a lifetime of financial wellness. So what's really unique about me as a financial coach is I have a very holistic and visionary approach. I have over 20 years in my yoga practice. It's probably going on longer than that, but I'm nearing 10 years of study in Ayurveda. And I am intuitive. I don't talk about this a lot, but I do associate or recognize that I have empathic tendencies, like Lisa. She's not here today in our group, but so all of that brings a really unique approach to my coaching. And yeah, just welcome, Carola. Very, very glad to see you here in the group today once you get back online.
Yep. She's here. Yay.
I'll try again. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now. Woohoo!
Sorry about that. My apologies. I don't know what was going on with my earpods and everything. So hello, welcome from the UK. It's 5:15 in the afternoon. I live in the beautiful southwest of the United Kingdom, and thank you very much, Denise, for accepting me into the group. I'm really proud and happy to be part of you all. I'm a nutritionist and fitness instructor, and when you say what's my superpower and what is the particular thing I'm doing from other coaches, I think it's very sad, but I base my work on science. And if you go through the internet and if you go through, I don't know, all other channels, you always find those people who, I don't know, the keyboard warriors who Google stuff and whatever happens on page 1 is the truth. And sadly, only because somebody got their SEO right, that doesn't mean that it is backed by science. So I'm talking about food and lifestyle and nutrition and exercise from a, I don't like the word holistic, but I haven't found a better one yet, because I think it's all playing together. It's body, it's mind, it's whatever you do. If you do it right, you will feel better. End of story. My passion is mental well-being and brain performance, because most of the people I work with are in a situation where they're in their 40s and 50s, maybe in leading positions, and then finding out, whoops, my body has basically let me get away with the way I live for the last 25 years. And I want to be on top of my game for the next 20 years, so I'll better change something. And that's when they call me. I run Wellbeing Retreats, award-winning, I should say, just as of last week. Super proud of that. Thank you.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I have just spoken to Denise this morning. Our Wellbeing Retreat in Colorado will go ahead in January 2022. We're going to have an amazing skiing retreat and we're super excited. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much. And truly what I love, there's so many things that I love about Carola and when we met, but truly it's that science piece that I think is so essential. You know, we talk about honest, reliable, and unbiased information, and it really does. The information does need to be science-backed, and all of us on Living Healthy List believe that. Like there's more to it than just what's on the surface. And so I really appreciate that about Carola, and I appreciate that about all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Miss Luann, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
I have to say something. Has anybody ever noticed that Luann only ever wears purple?
It looks best on the screen.
I know that about you, but I just think.
And the glasses are purple. You can't really tell in this light. So, you know, have to match. Anyway, I'm Luann Beekler, and I'm in, Byron, Minnesota, just outside of Rochester, not far from Denise and Dr. Joy. And my superpower, since Suzanne started that, is drawing out of people their passions and giving them the confidence to step fully into that and live that in their life. And if you look at my website, I do personal or life coaching, I do business coaching, and I do events. The largest portion of my business is the business coaching, and it's about creating culture in organizations and helping them to create joyful workplaces, because we spend so much time in the workplace in our world. And I want people to be happy. Just like Dr. Joy, in what they're doing every day. And I really believe that people intuitively find themselves in the right place in the world, but they don't consciously know it. And therefore, they're stuck in the drudgery, and we call them BMWs, bitching, moaning, and whining, that society and workplaces get into, right? So the people that are not in the right mindset are pulling everybody else down is really what's happening. And so when I work with business owners with a team of employees, 97% of the time, people have intuitively found themselves in the right place. We just have to turn that light bulb on that says, oh, I'm here to deliver my gifts and who I am, not just to collect a paycheck from somebody else. And then they step into a whole new way of living. So that's what I'm excited about, and helping business owners now more than ever after the pandemic and the virtual environment we're living in, that they build team around those passions so that they stay connected in their teams, even if they're all working from home or what have you. So that's where I spend a great deal of my time. I also do retreats. Denise is a part of a retreat that I've been doing for 12 years, or the Renew Women's Retreat. And my sister and I take women into the Boundary Waters canoe area of northern Minnesota, and we call that a journey of you, otherwise known as joy, going into the wilderness. So yeah, I do all kinds of things.
I have to say that is not one that I have gone to. I go to the Renew Women's Retreat. I love the Renew Women's Retreat. I'm afraid of the Boundary Waters. So we'll
start a glamping one, Denise.
Yeah, I like glamping. I like glamping.
Start a glamping one. We're testing out a location this year with some personal friends, and then hopefully we'll be there.
I can do glamping. I've done glamping with Jesse Itzler and his group. I like glamping. You know, when we were there, the best part of it was the food. We had a chef create meals for us. And it was just absolutely fabulous. Unfortunately, I couldn't stay there. They made me go home after the weekend ended, which basically meant that I had to start cooking for myself again. Let's see. Oh, bummer. Andrea's not here. I don't know if anybody got a chance to take a look through Andrea's program. She did a weekend-long program this weekend. I popped on a little bit on Friday and then for a few minutes on Saturday. And I know she's not here because she's probably trying to just blow off some steam after a really busy weekend with her 3-day program. But I want to mention it because it really was a labor of love. And we all know that a 3-day event and a 3-day event online is really tough. And Andrea did a fabulous job. So Andrea, you did an amazing job and congratulations. So today for a little bit of training, I've got a couple of things that I want to talk to you about, but this is something that I think we will all get some benefit from. And I'm going to share my screen in a second because I have to find it because I need to find the page. Okay, here it is. So how many of you do podcasts, like guests, have been on a guest as a podcast as a guest? Okay. Were you invited to those podcasts or did you actively ask?
Both.
I was invited.
Okay.
Invited.
Okay.
Invited.
Invited. Okay. So that's great because I've done that too. I've been invited to participate on podcasts. And this, so you guys know, Suzanne and I do a podcast every second and fourth Friday of the month called The Crooked Climb. And it's a lot of fun. We have great content. We have a plan for our podcast, but here's the thing. We have a plan too for us. When it comes to podcasting and being a guest on a podcast, do you guys have a plan or is it just kind of random? So this a person who we connected with, actually, Michelle, you know Cornelia Stephanie. So Suzanne and I do our podcast with Cornelia Stephanie Media, who basically helps to produce our podcast. And she introduced us to a podcast challenge that's happening right now. And essentially what it is, it's creating a plan for you to ask people to be on their podcast rather than just kind of random podcasts when people ask you. And I know a lot of times we've all done interviews for summits, online interview series, but this is strategic for you specifically to connect with people who have podcasts that you can share your genius and your freebies and increase your email list. So I'm going to share real quick. And Lori, I see you there. I will, at some point, I will stop talking and have you introduce yourself.
Everybody, we all know each other.
I know.
I'm listening.
Cool. Okay, so let me move my head. My head is really big. And so this is this gentleman. His name is David Newman. I don't know him. I don't know anything about him other than the fact that Cornelia introduced us to this challenge, and it's here. This is what I wanted to show you. Podcastguestchallenge.com to enter, and just day one. And truly, had I not listened to the video, actually day one and video and day one evening video, and then done the work. So this is day one homework. It's actually 2 pages worth of information that really can help us to create a plan for our marketing efforts, our podcast efforts, which basically is marketing. So doesn't it make more sense to have a plan and to actively be asking people to participate on their podcast that have the audience that you're looking for, that might have the numbers of people, the numbers of listeners that you're looking for? Obviously, there's a lot of people doing podcasts nowadays. Obviously, Sue and I have started our podcast. And actually, with the Wonder Series, I'm actually taking Wonder Series interviews and putting them on a podcast through Anchor.fm. something I just came across, one of the gals that I know through Mary Morrissey program. Some of you may know Mary Tappa. I think some of you have been on her podcast. And what I loved about this concept of this challenge, it really brings us up to that next level. You know, we all need to have a marketing plan, right? When it comes to social media and emails and all of those things. People are listening to podcasts more and more. So doesn't it make sense for each of us to be on the right podcasts? And, you know, some of them might be the same podcasts, but I would be silly to think that somebody who is, so like Luann is really works with businesses. And so a podcast that she would be interested in speaking on is really somebody who is in business and who works in business and is listening to a podcast. They may not really be interested in Eat Real Food, Make Good Decisions, and Be Accountable. So there really are different podcasts for each of us. And I would definitely recommend joining. It's the good thing about David is it's a half an hour. And probably the first 5 minutes are always hey, we have prizes, blah, blah, blah. So it really is about 15 minutes of real content. The content is in the emails that he sends in the morning. So just to read through this just real quick. The mission this week is to create a podcast guesting strategy to help you generate more leads, better prospects, and ready to buy inquiries for your services, products, and programs. And so I don't know about you guys, but that sounds pretty good to me. Thoughts, everyone? You could all unmute. I don't mind.
Denise, I was just asking if anybody else is on podmatch.com. So there's a site called podmatch.com that you can be listed as a speaker or you can be listed as a podcast host. And then the goal is to match the two up. And I had my virtual assistant go through and identify some podcasts that would be appropriate for me, like you said, from the business model. I was just on one called The Leader Shift Show. That was excellent. So I think it's a great model in what you're talking about. And I'm pretty new to Podmatch. And like I said, I had my virtual assistant go through and identify some people. And then she found some had a link to apply, if you will, for an opportunity to be on theirs.
Perfect. So I had not heard of Podmatch, but I'm on podcastguests.com and it seems similar, but I would say it's probably makes sense to, check both of them out and be on both of them. Cause I would think that they have different people. So those are the two. So that makes sense. I'll check out podmatch.com. And I think I actually have Jimena, not Debbie, working on this for me. Jimena is actually going through podcast guests and looking at some of the people that, again, make sense for me as the CEO and curator at livinghealthylist.com to be on. So I definitely recommend, this is what people are doing. If you want to get your message out to a lot of people, podcasters they're looking for content. We all have great content. So I am going to put in the chat the podcast guest challenge. Don't watch me typing. I'm worst. Podcastguestchallenge.com. And again, so it started yesterday. So today is day 2. I am just going through day 1, and it really does have you sit and really think about what it is, what your strategy is. Now, a lot of the questions you're going to go, yeah, well, I know that. What audience do I want to get in front of? In this, you can be really specific. I think that would be really good to be really specific because we all know who we want to talk, who we want to talk to. And probably most of us, our demographic may be pretty similar. I mean, mine for Living Healthy List, women 45 to 65, 68. that's kind of a broad, but when you kind of niche down a little bit, I think that's what we can do with these podcasts, with this challenge. Questions, thoughts?
How many of you have been on Lissa Figgins' podcast?
Yeah, I have. I know she's had a bunch of us on. Is she still
on next month?
Your next month?
Awesome.
Yep, in process of scheduling my
Good.
interview with her.
Good.
Is
So
she
here's
still doing them the 8 minutes on Facebook?
I don't know.
Because I know initially that was the thought, and I haven't listened to it in a while.
Oh no, she's on a podcast. Her podcast is on all of the channels that you would listen to a podcast. It's
Okay,
audio.
so then she's changed her marketing plan from doing Facebook Lives that were 8 minutes long, because the reason she was doing this, and I thought about this at the beginning of the year with the Wonder Series, to upload to LinkedIn, and a video has to be 8 minutes or less, or 9 minutes or less. And so that's what her initial concept was. And I thought maybe we would do that for the Wonder Series, but I didn't like the timing was too short. I like that we're doing, half an hour, 20 minutes to 30 minutes with Wonder Series.
So that's so interesting, right? And that's a great question. And to think about what our audience is like, right? So I follow a gentleman by the name of Steve Farber. His business is Extreme Leadership.
Mm-hmm.
He has a podcast and it's always an hour, but he just started sending out these daily, what he calls underground messages, and they're just audio and they're less than 2 minutes. And I listen to those, but I don't sit still for an hour-long podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's thinking about your audience too, and what are they going to do, and how long are they going to spend with you?
Mm-hmm.
So I also had a question for the group. What's the decision? What's the variable? I'm not sure the beginning of the question, whether to just be a guest all the time or to have your own podcast. What would be the reasoning? Suzanne might have an opinion on this. What would be the reasoning to go either way? Like for me right now, it's just, I don't take the time to learn new technology to be the podcast host. So I'm going to just be the guest. That's my only reasoning behind it. And so I wondered, why did Denise and Suzanne choose to start one? You got enough going on, right?
She needs to come back. So the answer to that is Suzanne asked me. So truly what happened with us is, so this may be a little unique. We had been talking about doing a podcast, separately for a year or two. And, in a way, in the back of my mind, I kept thinking, but I'm kind of doing that with the Wonder Series, but I hadn't really got to that point where it made sense. Like I was doing these interviews. And so Carola, the Wonder Series last year, what we did was each month we did a 1 hour conversation on Zoom. We invited people and we had experts talking about specific topics. What I decided to do this year was to do them every Wednesday for 20 to 30 minutes, where we answer questions that people have been wondering about. So that, Luann, that was for me, that was kind of the flow. That's what that was going to happen. When Suzanne and I decided to do our podcast, we were approached by Cornelia Stephanie with Cornelia Stephanie Media. Michelle's been on her podcast. Suzanne's been on her podcast. And basically Suzanne was like, if I'm going to do this, like I want to do this with Denise, my business bestie, because we bring, even though we have similar backgrounds, we have very different experiences. And I would say the amount of time you have would dictate, because it does take time to prepare. And with what we're doing with our podcast, somebody else kind of takes care of some of the stuff, but we still, we have to get together and write out a plan. What are we going to talk about? Who's taking lead this day? So it can be time consuming. I think being a guest on podcast is great for your marketing. But I also think having your own podcast where you're talking to a specific audience about your genius, and bringing new people in, it really is about what is unique about Luann and what you bring to the table. But I would say time-wise, being part of a podcast is a lot less time consuming than actually hosting one.
I think I completely agree with you, Denise. For me, I have been a guest several times and I really enjoy it. I like it, but I simply don't have the time to run my own podcast. I'm struggling with timing anyway and trying to outsource as much as I can at the moment, but it's one of those things where I say it's a really nice to have, but it's far down on the priorities list at the moment because it's just when. Right.
And for me with Wonder Series, Luann, I'm already doing that. And so I have that in my schedule. And then now that I'm using this Anchor, and I literally just did created the first one on Friday. It's point and click or drag and drop. So it's still new to me, but I've already done the video and I have somebody actually planning out who are we connecting with. I have my schedule through June, who I'm interviewing. And I have somebody else doing that for me. That's what Jimena is helping me with. She's my podcast person. So timing wise, Suzanne, I know you probably have some insight here also for Luann.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had to run to the little girls' room, so I missed what Luann said.
The question was, what's the deciding factor of whether you're just a guest on podcasts or whether you host your own?
Oh, I would say definitely where you're at with the number of followers would be the first consideration. Many people jump into doing a podcast before they have enough people to actually advertise it to. So that's the number one consideration in my book for my clients. And even with Denise and my combined audience, we are still not getting the numbers for our live studio audience that we thought based on statistics. So I think bare minimum numbers, at least have 1,000 people on your email list before you think about starting a podcast.
And even that, it's quality numbers.
Absolutely.
Like, because I have a database of 6,000 people, but a lot of those people aren't engaged. So, because it's been over the last 15 years. It's more.
Yeah. So I would look at what are your open rates and click rates on that 6,000. And when's the last time you cleaned your list and got rid of the people who haven't opened the last 10 emails?
That's a good point.
Sounds like a good job for my Michelle.
Yeah. And then the second thing to consider is the amount of time. I think if you're going to have like Denise said, a well-prepared podcast, it's, deciding on your topics, being super cohesive with the topics so that they actually lead to something. And that's where I made the mistake with my first podcast. I talked all day long, but there wasn't necessarily a call to action at the end of each episode that, made sense for what the content was. So being really strategic with it.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Awesome. So Lori, are you back?
I am.
Okay. I just wanted to give you the opportunity to say hello.
Hi. I look like hell today, but hello.
You always look adorable, Lori. You're just.
Oh, you're so very kind. How is everybody?
Good.
Happy birthday, Denise, by the way.
Yeah, happy birthday, Denise.
Thank you. Thank you. Woo-hoo. I joined a club. Apparently. Everybody keeps saying, welcome to the club. Welcome to the club.
What club did you join?
The 50 Club.
Please, girl.
I knew you were going to say that.
How was your dinner, Denise?
It was fabulous. Thank you.
I was like thinking about that. I was like, oh, I hope she's having an amazing dinner.
We did. We had a 6-course meal. It was just phenomenal. Yeah. I have pictures somewhere Mark took, so it was awesome.
Good.
Awesome.
Good.
So, yeah. So Lori, you've been on podcasts before?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. And so I think podcasting, especially this podcast guest concept, when it comes to marketing and getting your name out there and getting your expertise out there, I think it really is important. So I did put the link in there, and then both Luann and I put a link for podcastguests.com and podmatch.com. So make sure you take a look at both of those. So I want to move along real quick because
Before you change the subjects, I have a question. I had to go look up a name.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Leanne Pruitt.
Yeah.
She's still part of the group?
She absolutely is.
Because my best success of being a guest on a podcast was on Leanne Pruitt's. I would love to suggest that maybe there's a time that she talks to us about what she does and how she promotes, and potentially why that was so successful above all else for me. It's probably what she's doing.
Yep. And I know a bit of her process, because she and I and Michelle also, we all went through a program together, 2017, I think, called PACE. And so that was part of what that program is. I know she's worked with other coaches who really focus on doing these interview series. So I think that's a good point. We should definitely do that. Sherry Clark also has a really successful program, and hers actually is not on video. Hers is audio only, which when I did my first interview series, that's what we did. We did audio only. So yeah, I'll probably talk to Leanne later today and see if we can get her on and get some insight there. Okay. Anything else before I move on? Nope. Okay. So I wanted to share my screen. I almost canceled the meeting. Okay. Share the screen again. Let's not do that. And I want to find the right thing before I do that. Hold on. Thought I did. Healthy living, happy life. There we go. So I wanted to take, just have everybody, if you haven't had a chance yet, to really take a look at our magazine, Healthy Living, Happy Life, the magazine. From day one, I always said Living Healthy List is basically an online magazine. Obviously, we have a website, we have a platform, and that's what people come to for the most part. But what I really want to emphasize is this magazine. And Debbie just started doing it. When did we start it? In January? I think the first one was in January. And we're playing with different platforms to do this. I think we had decided by June, or by the end of May, we'll decide on a platform, whether it's the Flipbook or Flipsmack that we've been using, or we may be upgrading to Adobe. But I just want to say that this is something that I think this is a great piece of marketing for all of us. And so so in the magazine, every month when you have an article, if you have an event coming up, if you have something that is happening, and we really are trying to get this information 2 months ahead of time. So April 10th, the June articles were due. I'm not holding everybody to that. Get them to me when you can get them to me. But if we can start planning the magazine 2 months in advance, that's really helpful. So just want to flip through and get some feedback. You know, Debbie works hard on this, and I always look at it and I go, it's awesome. I do edit it. That's part of my job as the curator, because sometimes things do get wonky. Where does this pitch? Hold on, there we go. So it kind of has we try to keep it with a similar layout. Obviously, our featured experts, whoever has an article that month gets featured right there. I think with the new, if we go to Adobe, each person's name, we can get a link to either your profile or to your website. So that's something to think about, because it's another way you can share this link with your audience. You can share it on Facebook. You can share it in your newsletter. Look what, you know, here, another place to be seen, kind of like the as seen on, well, you're seen now in a magazine. and this is something that we really want people to start. I guess this will be kind of our freebie moving forward, is sign up for our, rather than our newsletter, it would be for our online magazine. So this is actually the link. If you look at it, it's actually on livinghealthylist.com. So it is available there. So it has its own link. It has its own home on Living Healthy List. And we will be able to manipulate the drop down and actually have a place where on the home page where people can go, oh, look, the magazine, we'll click, we'll open the magazine, rather than having to go through the drop down. So that is one critique that I got recently. What else? Always a little note to the editor, or from the editor.
Did you say what the topics are moving forward, June?
June is the great outdoors.
Oh, yay.
Right up your alley there, Luann. And again, with the themes, you know, we try, you know, they're really helpful for us for planning. If you have something that you want to say that has nothing to do with the great outdoors, I don't know, Michelle, you're pretty creative, but you know, Michelle, as a financial coach in the great outdoors, does that work? Does it make sense? If it doesn't make sense, then it doesn't make sense.
So how far out do you have topics, Denise?
Till the end of the year.
So can you give us the next few?
Yep, they are in the Facebook group, but I will. So May, if you still want to have something in for May, I would need it by the end of the week, because they would do the 10th. May was recommit, and that could be kind of anything. June is the great outdoors. July is connection, and that could be, you know, Debbie and I were talking, like, is it about like NLP connection? Is it about connection with your family and friends? Is it connection to, you know, self? And then August is, oh, I love this one. Admit that you're happy. Because we all kind of BMW. But truly, like, there's so many things that in our lives that we are happy about without, you know, kind of paying attention. So, and then I'll make sure that it is in the Facebook group, but I'll just double check, because I'm not really sure where it is right now. Okay. So I'd like for everybody, not right now, but at some point, to go through and to, you know, kind of what stands out. What do we need to change? What do we need to tweak? I know a lot of our articles are kind of, they're not long. That's the thing. Like, we try to keep them between 300 and 800 words. Sometimes I get them that are a little longer. And then, of course, then they go into too many pages. That I'm a little concerned with. But it's a magazine, and you want to read a whole article, right? Rather than saying, oh, here's the link to the rest of the article. I'd rather have people looking at the magazine. And I, you know, I would be open to, you know, another thought on that one. So hold on. So more articles, blah, blah, blah. Hey, I know this lady. So obviously, if we have, we want to make sure that we're doing a an expert feature every month. We have a couple of new people who joined us. Dr. Sheila, when she joined us, we had her, I think last month. No, this is April. So in March, yeah. As most of you know, I'm an author. I love this. I am an international candidate in the US, an international #1 selling author. And all I did was write a chapter. But I'm really excited about this. If you haven't had a chance to grab it, it's on Amazon. I think it's still on Kindle for $1. Otherwise, it's like $19. So la la la. And this is where I said, if anybody has any kind of an event or a program or something that's coming up, let's make sure that we're getting that information to Debbie so we can get it into the magazine. And, if it's an event that's, 6 months down the road, I'm cool with just let's have it in there. Let's make sure that people are seeing it. Because we know, people have to see something like 6 to 8 or 20 times before they go, oh yeah, and they get it. This is one of the organizations that I don't necessarily work with, but I support because of what they do. These are handmade aprons, and they're really, really amazing aprons. They're really well made, but each apron that is sold provides 100 meals for people in the US, Canada, and in India. The woman who runs this, truly, I actually saw her on television one day, like one of these affiliate, like a KTTC affiliate someplace. And somebody had basically heard about what she was doing, and she and I connected. So that buy an apron button actually does it's an affiliate, but I don't actually, because this is a nonprofit. We don't get like an affiliate reward type of thing, but it is nice for us to know, that we're supporting the cause. And of course, when it comes to food, that's kind of important for obviously Living Healthy List.
Denise, the only thing that I would make a comment on is your margins. The margins go so far to the ends of the pages and into the gutter.
Yeah, you're right. Some of them, oh yeah, you're right.
You might want to, it just looks a little bit more less amateurish, because it's like there's a lot of great stuff in here.
Yep, I love it. Thank you. See, as soon as you said that, I went, oh yeah.
I think that's a good comment, Lori. The other thing I would add to it is adding like pictures within the context, like where you see pages of just words. I shut off. My brain shuts off because it's so much content to look at.
Yep.
But if not even whole page pictures are all the way across, but smaller ones, like you see the smaller picture at the end of that page, inserting it on like on part of the page where there's content on the side of it.
Yeah.
Right. So if you were to pull up, so see this, like that one there. Yeah. So that's what I would say to make it, because if you flip through even a magazine that's a tangible one that you can actually page through, you'll see that the way they lay things out, it's specifically like I could sit and read an entire magazine from cover to cover because I don't feel overwhelmed on any of the pages.
It needs more white space. And so instead of leaving this big chunk, if you put pictures and break it up, then it'll give it a little more breath.
Yep. Got it. Oops. Okay. Can't spell. Break. Oh. Love it. Okay.
Gotta run. Bye, ladies.
I gotta go a little.
Bye, Luann.
Bye.
I'm done.
Wait, right. Okay. So real quick, before anybody jumps off, I know it's almost noon. So thank you for this. If you would take a look at this and any other thoughts, I would appreciate. One last thing that I want to talk to you guys about is Living Healthy List Academy. We're launching at the end of April 30th. Yay, I'm finally doing it. Luann jumped off. She's probably like, woohoo, that she didn't catch this piece. She actually is working on a program to put onto Living Healthy List Academy, but she's had a couple of setbacks. So we'll get hers in after we do an official launch. So with that, next week, we'll have a Google Drive with a couple of emails and some graphics, social media graphics to help to promote the launch of Living Healthy List Academy. And so Carola, the Academy essentially is it's another touch point for our audience to get to know the experts before they kind of pick up the phone. If they're not quite ready to pick up the phone and work with someone, this is a great touch point. And so I think of it as College Courses 101. So it's that entry level course. So I have one on Essential Oils 101 that Letitia, that I actually did. I forgot I had this. I have this. I also have like a six week, I call it Reconnect to Health. And so it's an easy way for people to go, okay, I'm kind of ready to do this, but not really sure. And so, and most of the courses are less than $200. We have one course, it's a 30-day course, that's $297, but most of them are $200 or less. And that's really just another way to engage our audience. And actually so what we do with the programs is we do a 60-40 split right now, because Living Healthy List does host the courses, and we're marketing the courses. What we'll do every week, we'll be talking about another course in our marketing, in our social media. And then the author, so when we split that with the course author or teacher.
Will we get emails and stuff like that, addresses?
That's a very good question. Suzanne? I would think, so I would imagine, so when I'll get email addresses when people sign up, and then we can forward those to the course.
Yes, we will basically know by a tag who signs up, so they all dump on Living Healthy List main list with a tag depending on whose course they sign up for. So I would say once a quarter would be realistic to download, who the new signups are and get those out to everyone.
Yep. And Lori, for your course, so we have two prices for Lori's course. One is the course on its own, and there's a second price that includes 1 hour of coaching or half hour of coaching. I don't remember what we said, but it just says coaching.
So is there a link for those people who purchase to schedule with Lori within her course?
Yep.
Okay, so she'll know those people.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see if we could. What I think we can do is when someone signs up for anyone's course, we could have an email go out to that person that says, oh, Mary Smith just registered for your course, Letitia, or Lori or Suzanne. Right. I think that's a great option. Michelle.
Denise, I have a question. So you're going to launch the university on the 30th. What is your deadline for content? So when do you want to have your content so it's ready for launch on the 30th? I mean, I know we're talking like less than 2 weeks here. I'm not sweating or panicking at all, but
just just get it to me when you can get it to me before the 30th, if you can. I mean, just because we're starting to talk about it on the 30th doesn't mean we can't still add. We're going to be continually adding courses. I'd love to have it for launch on the 30th. I think that'd be awesome. And I've gotten to a point where I'm really good at like putting stuff into the system. And I think,
and remember, because it's launching on the 30th, if you only have the first week or two of your content, that's better than nothing.
Great. Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you.
Yep, that's
good.
True.
Thanks.
I hadn't thought of that.
That's
good.
So at least get Denise week 1, and then you'll have another week to come up with week 2.
Yep.
Right. We just have to stay 1 week ahead of the program. Yes. Isn't that how we run as coaches? We just need to be 1 step ahead of where our clients are.
It works.
5 minutes ahead is all you need to be.
5 minutes.
From a technical perspective, please, Denise, would you need the the entire course so you can just take it, or do you link into the platform we're currently using? Because I run
we need all the content. It's basically like having your course in 2 different places.
Okay. Okay. Because I run my courses on Thinkific and they're all there.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I can send everything, grab it here and put it over there. Yeah.
And so because what I've done so right now I have a couple of things on Teachable, and so we're taking what I've done is just basically taking stuff from Teachable, copy, pasted, and put it into.
Okay.
We did look to see, how could we link to another platform, and it kind of it wasn't easy because it was, linking to a different platform, and then the payment and how would that work? So it is easier for us to have the content.
Can you only take videos, or can you take, I don't know, PDFs?
Anything.
All the above. All the above.
Okay.
Like my 6-week course, there's an intro video and that's it. And then it's all PDF and information.
Okay. Okay.
Awesome.
Good.
Yeah, and I would remember that, keep it to a 6-week or under course. Something that leads to the next level of working with you.
Yeah.
This is kind of like your intro course. So if what you have currently on Thinkific is 12 weeks, what could you pull out of that and expand on and make it a 30-day program?
I haven't really put it into a given time frame. I've just said, okay, fine, here are 32 lessons, go with it. Whatever you like, but I can grab, I don't know, 5 or 8 or 15 out of them.
That makes sense. Like, just because you like I said, we really want this to be the intro for people to get to know who you are, how you work, and then for the people to connect with you. And then that's where, they work with you on a different level. So we really, at Living Healthy List, we kind of want to be that. We want to help you get the clients. And then once they're here and they connect with you, and then, they're your clients.
Makes sense. Brilliant. Thank you. I'm going to have something.
Yeah, let me know. Let me know what you're thinking. Just shoot me an email, or we can connect again later on.
Yeah.
All right. I've got to go, guys. Thank you so much.
I have a client too. I got to run.
Yep. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for joining. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Good day.
Bye.